Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. Today I'm going to tell you why Coinbase is going to add XRP either today, tomorrow, or the next day. And I'm going to show you exactly why. I tweeted this morning. In the next 2 days, Coinbase adds XRP only for parts of the world with regulatory certainty, as mentioned by Brad Garlinghouse in his AMA. Watch. Okay, now I was wrong about one thing. I thought that their Coinbase is 12 days of Coinbase. I thought there was only 2 days left, but there's 3 days. So it's today, tomorrow, and the next day. One of those days they're going to add XRP on a limited basis, not in the United States. Moving along, and I'm going to show you exactly why I believe this. First, just to go back, Coinbase did this on December the 7th. They said they're exploring the addition of 30 plus new digital assets. They've claimed that this is out of because they want to listen to their customers, but it's really because they have to do it. But this is the first time. This is important to understand. This is the first time that XRP has ever been mentioned by Coinbase as being thinking about adding XRP. It's the first time ever. Okay. Now moving along. Let's go through this. This is the 12 days of Coinbase. This is what they announced after that. And just yesterday is all of their announcements have been kind of ho-hum. And then yesterday, for the first time, they announced the addition of 4 of the cryptos that were in the list that I just showed you. Those 4 were all Ethereum-based tokens. And everybody was like, oh, please, we barely even heard of those. Okay. Well, let's look at what their announcement said, because this is important. It said DAI, GNT, MKR, and ZIL order books will soon enter transfer-only mode. We will accept inbound transfers in the regions where trading is supported. Orders cannot be placed or filled. Order books will be in transfer-only mode for a minimum of 12 hours. But then when you go down here, it talks about the tokens, and it says support for GNT and DAI will initially be available for Coinbase users in the US, excluding New York, the UK, EU, Canada, Singapore, and they go on to mention others. This is what's important right here, because this did not click with me. I noticed that they were doing it on a limited basis, but this right here, I'll show you when it clicked with me. C3 Nick, I did a video from this morning where C3 Nick had outlined everything Brad Garlinghouse said in his AMA. Here's where he says, Brad Garlinghouse on regulation. We definitely saw increased regulatory uncertainty in the United States, but increased regulatory clarity in other markets around the world. Like, I got made fun of for the way I said this, so I'll just get made fun of again. Abu Dhabi or Dhabi or whatever. The UK, Singapore, ... Okay. This is what's important, because remember this, they just opened, Coinbase Pro, they're opening GNT and DAI to the UK, EU, not New York, Canada, Singapore, ... So here's my prediction to you all. Remember, and the backdrop to this is, remember, the people invested in Ripple are also invested in Coinbase and vice versa. We've always said, and I believe Barry Silbert's one of them, the digital currency group, these guys are all connected. And what Coinbase has always said is they would list things if they had regulatory certainty. Well, this, I believe, is Brad Garlinghouse saying, yeah, we've got regulatory certainty in these locations. He may have mentioned more than that, but UK and Singapore. And I'm going to make the prediction right now. At a minimum, XRP is going to be added to Coinbase for UK and Singapore customers, because we've already seen that they're okay with opening up those markets if they have the go-ahead. And Brad Garlinghouse has told us that these are the ones that XRP has gotten that approval with. That's what he says. It says here in so many words. So, and now I want to show you So write it down. The digital asset investor said that at a minimum, XRP will be listed on Coinbase for UK and Singapore customers. That's my prediction. That's about as specific as it gets. And it'll happen either today, tomorrow, or the next day. Next, let's look at why Coinbase. See, as all of you have told me, and I've heard it 1,000 times on Twitter, Coinbase needs XRP more than XRP needs Coinbase. And that's 100% true. And I'm going to show you why now. This is an article. Binance CEO says it doesn't have to be a competition with Coinbase. Well, in my opinion, he's just kind of laughing all the way to the bank at Coinbase. But it says Coinbase gets into crypto-to-crypto trading. They're doing it because they're getting their butts handed to them. And these guys don't just want to be the leader, they also want to IPO. And to IPO, you've got to make sure your numbers look really good. And I'm about to show you some numbers that don't look good for Coinbase. And anybody who's going to take them to IPO is pointing at these numbers, I can promise you. Binance is king of crypto to crypto. And then it showed CZ Binance's tweet where he says, it doesn't have to be a competition. Market is still small. And he's right. This is going to be a huge market. And these guys, they're all going to be running this show. But CZ Binance has accomplished in 1 year what Coinbase hasn't been able to do in 5, and that's a fact they can't get around. And you better believe their investors are all over them about it. Okay, moving along. I'm still trying to show you why I know they're going to do it now. Coinbase exec denies plans for IPO anytime soon, reveals plans to add up to 300 coins. Okay, remember, there was some news. It came from Rand Nooner from CNBC. One day earlier, a few months back, it was right around here, October, a few months back, he says he's hearing that Coinbase is going to IPO. Very next day, Coinbase exec denies it, and they say they're going to add up to 300 coins. And I believe that that's because it's just like when a company's buying you and they're looking at your books. These companies they want to improve the numbers in their books. In the case of an IPO, it's so that it IPOs at a better price. Well, what are they going to do that? Coinbase has a problem, and here's where their problem lies. This is what the Coinbase problem is. Coinbase sees 80% decline in volume trader count since January 2018. Well, everybody had good volume back when the market was going crazy. But see, Coinbase has a unique problem. Let's look at Coinbase's volume versus their competition. Now look at this right here. Coinbase has 421,909 active users, the digital asset investor being one of them. Well, Binance only has 312 users. Well, look at Binance. Binance has over $1 billion in volume in November of 2018 versus Coinbase's 106 million in volume. And you and I both know the reason for that. The reason is that these guys they've got customers like me who all I do, if I do anything, is I buy Bitcoin just to get it off of Coinbase and go buy the currencies I want at places like Binance. And then those currencies go to my Ledger Nano S, or they sit temporarily on a site like that until I do get them on my Ledger Nano S. But I don't have any reason to go back to Coinbase. Maybe when I cash out. That's why they have so many users, because they were the first mover, but they have such low volume as compared to someone who's got less users. And they know that if this keeps up, the user base is going to pass Coinbase as well. If these companies on this list, once these companies begin getting relationships with U.S. banks, that's really the only thing Coinbase has, because they're located in the U.S. But over time, all of these companies you're going to be able to go straight into not just U.S. banks, but any bank in the world because of the nature of digital assets. But this is why Coinbase is doing this. It's this volume. It's the volume, stupid, as they say. But this is what it's about. So write it down, and I'll repeat what I said. In the next 3 days, today, tomorrow, or the next day, Coinbase will add XRP trading on a limited basis. It will not be available in the United States. It will be available in UK and Singapore at a minimum, but there may be a list of a few others. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that the digital asset investors said that XRP goes on Coinbase today, tomorrow, or the next day. Thanks for listening.